right? What a great gift. And it was not only a joyful moment for Gio, but it was a joyful moment for the whole class as you rejoice in your victory, right, in the kickball game. And today we celebrate one of those moments in which our Lord wants to throw you that ball. And you just have to be ready to catch it, right? Many blessings and graces our Lord wants to just throw at us, and it's just a matter of being attentive in order to catch the ball and to really rejoice in the gift of the present moment. What our Lord wants to give you right now at this great Mass, and as you conclude this, these years, right? You finish your 8th grade, and now our Lord is calling you to the next step. You are still in the race. You are not yet in the very, very finish line, but you have accomplished a good amount of miles in your race, right? But now it's a different journey in the race, right? So that's why I'm so super happy to be here and to celebrate, to preside this Mass with all of you. I can't believe that when I arrived to Royalmont Academy, you were in 5th grade. You were like this. Hello, Father, how are you? Right? So it's so great to see you and to accompany you, to having accompanied you during these 4 years, the first 4 years of my priesthood, and to see you growing, and not only in stature, but as well in your relationship with our Lord, right? And when we read the Gospels, we see that that's what our Lord did. He grew in stature, but as well in grace before his Father and before others. And that's that witness that our Lord is calling you, and he's calling each one of us to bear, to really grow in our human life, in our life of virtue, but above all to grow in our personal relationship with Christ. I know I've mentioned to you many times what Don Bosco said. He said, virtue always attracts because it's beautiful, and only beautiful things attract. And that's what we are called to do, that to be men and women of virtue, so that we can actually attract others, not to ourselves, not to our own qualities and talents, but to redirect them, to point them towards Christ. That's the beauty, and that's what we're celebrating today. And I really believe that our Lord gives you and gives each one of us the secret to success in our spiritual life. If you want to persevere in the race, do this. Ready? I'm going to ask you one question, because you wouldn't be a homily, Father Jesus homily, without asking a question. So, what was the first line of today's Gospel? This is the problem, that sometimes the first line is the most important one, but because it's the first one, we just totally miss out because we're like stretching or whatever, like looking around. Do you remember? Anyone remembers? Okay, the first 4 words. What I'm looking is the very first word of today's passage. I'm going to give you a hint. It's a verb. No? Okay, let's open it to the general public here. Anyone? The first word of today's passage, it's a verb. Lifting up his eyes to heaven. Jesus prayed. Lifting, to lift up our eyes. That's the secret of success in our spiritual life and in our life in general. To lift up our eyes to heaven. Because that's where God is. And that's where we want to go. We're not made for this world, FYI. We were not made to stay in this world forever. That will be kind of painful, right? The sufferings and the struggles, right? We know that in heaven, none of those things will exist. Because we're in the very presence of our Lord. And our Lord, he's God. But he's lifting up his eyes to the Father, to his Father, knowing that he's watching over him. And he's inviting you, and he's inviting me and all of us to do the same. Okay, you're finishing your 8th grade. You are moving towards high school. You are taking this step of generosity in your life. And guess what? It could be kind of scary. Like high school, right? But at the same time exciting, right? I think all of you like adventures, right? Like to, have some excitement, something different, a new challenge. But our Lord tells us, okay, if you want to be successful in this new challenge, in this new chapter of your life, don't look at yourself, but lift up your eyes. Look up. Look up to higher things. That's our motto, Semper Ausius. Always higher, always looking higher, not looking to yourself, to you yourself alive, because that's when we start getting into trouble. Where instead of looking up, we look down. You know, Coach Brink always tells all the runners, look up and smile, because it helps you to go faster. I proved that in the marathon. You know, just look up and choose something far away and then run towards it. And then when you made it there, choose another thing. Keep going. Okay, now you made it to one of those moments. And now we have to keep going to the next chapter. But we have to lift up our eyes. And sometimes that takes a lot of humility, and we have to sacrifice ourselves. Like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Sometimes to lift up our eyes, it takes a lot of courage, right? But we have to lifting up our eyes to heaven, where we belong. So that's the first, secret to success. If you want to persevere in your relationship with Christ now in your high school years, lift up your eyes. Especially when the days are kind of gloomy and dark and rainy and with a lot of lightning, lift up your eyes.